So let's talk about traditional history in claiming ownership to land. And I will illustrate this by a case I handled recently in Ogun State. We actually won the game. My client had a property and we actually processed CFO. We have a CFO on the land. And the family came up and said that the land belongs to them. They sued our predecessor in title as well. And we went to court. We pleaded our CFO, and our predecessor in title only have the customary rights on that land. He also acquired from a community. So during trial, we called the community who also claim that they own the land by traditional history. So we have two people relying on traditional history as their root of title. However, at the end of the day, the court believed our own predecessors in title proof because it was consistent, it was conclusive. However, the other party, because rejected their history, because there was a break in the lineage of their ancestors. So anyone relying on traditional history, one must be able to identify the land in question, must be able to state how his forefathers, fathers, father, or the first settlers settle on that land. How did they acquire the land? Is it by conquest? Is it by grant? Is it by settlement? Apart from that, that person relying on traditional history must give a detailed record of how the land passed on to him or her. From A to Z, there must not be any linkage. And if there's any linkage whatsoever, then it is not proven. And that was how I won that case. They mentioned from one forefathers that was winning wars and came to Owode. Then they were mentioning he had 5 children. Along the line, they omitted to mention how the land devolved on the 5 children, how many children those 5 children had before it got to them. So the story was not complete, and it was on that basis that the court dismissed the case. So when a lawyer is asking you for the history of the land, it's for the purpose of this, because most of the land we all know that they are either, you always say that they are from one family then pass on to somebody else. So you need to be able to state all of that in your reciter without missing any link. I hope you've learned something today, and I look forward to having you again